Nobody wakes up one morning and says, "I want to destroy my future with debt." That's not how it happens. Instead, it happens quietly. One Amazon order, one buy now, pay later button, one luxury car lease, one dinner to feel better, one credit card swipe after a stressful day. And before people realize it, their entire lives become dependent on money they haven't earned yet. What's terrifying is this. Most Americans already know they're drowning financially. They know the system is hurting them. They know credit cards are dangerous. They know consumerism is fake. But they keep spending anyway. Why? Because modern debt is no longer just financial. It's psychological. America didn't just build an economy. It built a machine designed to manipulate emotion. A machine that turns loneliness into shopping, stress into subscriptions, insecurity into financing, and sadness into consumption. And the worst part? Millions of people don't even realize they're trapped inside it. Tonight, we're talking about the invisible psychological weapon quietly destroying the American middle class. In America, people don't buy products anymore. They buy identity. That's the real business model. A truck isn't just a truck, it's masculinity. A luxury handbag isn't fashion, it's status. An iPhone isn't technology, it's social acceptance. Modern advertising no longer says, "Here's a useful product." Instead it says, "This is who you could become." And Americans are surrounded by this messaging every second of the day. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, billboards, influencers, celebrities. Every platform constantly whispers the same thing. You are incomplete until you buy something. That message becomes dangerous when people feel emotionally weak, because insecurity creates consumers. A person struggling financially becomes more vulnerable to spending, not less. Think about that. Someone stressed about money often spends more money trying to escape the feeling. Retail therapy, late-night shopping, luxury purchases after heartbreak, impulse spending after work stress. The economy feeds on emotional instability. And corporations understand human psychology better than most people understand themselves. That's why apps are addictive. That's why online stores use countdown timers. That's why everything says, limited offer, only 2 left, sale ends tonight. It creates urgency, fear, pressure. Not because people need the product, but because emotional people make irrational financial decisions. And America perfected this system. The result? Millions of people aren't buying things because they're happy. They're buying things because they're empty. Years ago, spending money physically hurt, because cash felt real. When people handed over physical bills, their brains registered loss. But credit cards changed human behavior forever, because swiping doesn't feel painful. And digital payments made it even worse. Now people can spend thousands of dollars with one tap, without emotionally processing the consequences. That's not an accident. Banks and financial companies spent decades studying behavioral psychology. They discovered something terrifying. The less pain consumers feel while spending, the more reckless they become. And it worked. Americans normalized debt so deeply that financing became part of everyday life. Phones financed, cars financed, furniture financed, groceries financed, vacations financed. Even food delivery apps now offer payment plans. Think about how insane that is. And society acts like this is normal. But the psychological damage runs deeper than money. Debt creates invisible mental pressure. People become anxious, exhausted, emotionally numb. Then they spend more money trying to feel temporary relief, which creates more debt. And suddenly, millions of Americans are trapped in a cycle where consumption becomes emotional survival. Not luxury, not enjoyment, survival. That's why many people making six figures still live paycheck to paycheck. Because income alone cannot defeat psychological spending addiction, especially in a system specifically engineered to keep people consuming forever. For most of human history, people compared themselves to maybe 20 or 30 neighbors. Now, Americans compare themselves to millions of strangers every single day. And social media turned insecurity into a business model. Every scroll reminds people of what they don't have. Someone richer, someone prettier, someone younger, someone traveling, someone succeeding. And eventually, people begin consuming just to keep up emotionally. Not financially, emotionally. A man buys an expensive watch because he feels behind in life. A woman buys luxury skincare because social media convinced her aging is failure. Young adults finance cars they cannot afford because appearance matters more than stability. Nobody wants to look broke, even if they actually are. And this creates something dangerous: performative wealth. People living fake luxury lifestyles funded entirely by debt. America became a country where people look rich but secretly panic every night before sleeping. The average person is exhausted trying to maintain an image, and social media made escaping almost impossible. Because algorithms reward envy. The more insecure people feel, the longer they stay online. The longer they stay online, the more advertisements they see. And the more advertisements they see, the more money they spend. This isn't random. This is industrialized psychology. And millions of Americans are unknowingly participating in it every day. Here's the darkest truth of all. A financially peaceful person is bad for the economy. Think about it. Someone content with their life doesn't overspend. Someone emotionally stable doesn't impulse buy constantly. Someone confident doesn't need luxury brands to feel valuable. So the system quietly encourages dissatisfaction. Not directly, subtly. It trains people to chase endless upgrades. Better car, better body, better clothes, better house, better lifestyle. Never enough, never satisfied. Because satisfied people stop consuming. And if millions stopped consuming emotionally, entire industries would collapse. That's why Americans are constantly told to hustle harder, buy more, upgrade faster, flex louder. Meanwhile, their savings disappear. Their debt grows. Their mental health collapses. But the machine keeps moving, because the economy profits from emotional instability. And maybe that's the most disturbing part. The system doesn't merely tolerate financially struggling people. It depends on them. But there's something even darker happening now. Because debt is no longer the final stage. The next evolution has already begun. And it's targeting something far more dangerous than your wallet. Your attention. Your habits. Your emotions. Your identity itself. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how modern technology turned distraction into one of the most profitable industries in human history, and why millions of Americans are slowly losing the ability to think independently without even realizing it.